Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is a look at the 3 plants I bought at Burnham's. This one, basically I saw a couple in bloom in a mass of them. There were actually loads for sale. But in amongst them were some larger ones. And I thought, well, I'm not spending much at the moment, going to shows and stuff like that, and YouTube's paying for it anyway, I'm not. So I thought we'll have one of the larger ones. So this has got quite a few spikes on it, 4 I can see, and maybe some more. I'm not sure whether it actually does the twin spikes per pseudo bulb. I can't see that anywhere at the moment. But it's a good sized plant. Obviously all the new growths have matured or are virtually mature and are blooming. It's got a massive root system, so it's well established in the pot. Miltonia species, it's Regnellii, and quite honestly it's one that appears in many hybrids. So I was pleased to get the species. I mean, I think I've got 1 or 2 hybrids that is in. It'll be a little while before we see the blooms, but there's a good set of spikes on there to come. That hasn't long been put in that pot, that's fresh bark, but the plant is establishing in there, roots pushing down in there, so it can stay in there for some time. That's good. So no repotting, not for a bit anyway. And it can climb up to the edge of the pot. I'm quite happy for it to do that. So that's that one. And this one you'll have seen from the video. This is the one that I was in the back room chatting to Sarah, and this colour caught my eye along with another one, but this one specifically. And I asked if it was for sale, and it wasn't. You'll have heard the story in another video. And then basically I was filming around the nursery, doing the growing areas and the private section and all that sort of stuff. And I left the sales area till last. And I was literally going along filming the sales area, and you'll see it in the video. I went past this like that and stopped and went back and paused and basically picked the plant up and took it out. And I put a pop-up on the video saying, well, that's not going back on the shelf. So I actually found a second version of the one that I wanted. 2 good spikes on there, one nearly fully open but not quite, and one just starting. It looks like a pretty good plant. It's a bought-in plant, I didn't realise this nowadays as well. Plants have plant passports. It's been stamped on the pot in this case. Well, it's going to lose that if I repot it, when I repot it. But obviously massive pseudo bulbs on this thing. But it's a mass-produced plant. It's in that cocoa fibre stuff. But at least this one's been grown on for a bit. Yeah, you've got this size pseudo bulb followed by the next one up, which did bloom. Yeah, both sides. And then its latest pseudo bulb is massive, which again has got 2 spikes. So this has been grown on to this stage, not just ripped off a large plant. So that's not too bad. I didn't see that when I picked it up. I'm seeing that now. Basically, when I picked this up, I was filming and I just grabbed it and I thought, that's it. Just basically, I had a box going in the back room with my stuff in. And I just took it out and plonked it down, and I just said to Sarah, I'll sort that out in a minute. But yes, I would say an amount of odontoglossum in there, looking at the shape. Waxy, really sturdy blooms. There's nothing flimsy about these. So, yeah, I'm pleased with that. I might even be able to get onto that. Oh, it's an Inca. One of the popular mass producers. I've got a feeling Rachel had a job lot from them to grow on. They produce pretty good plants, and I believe you can go on the website and actually find the plant that I should be able to go and find this plant. The trouble is it'll probably have a non-registered name. It'll have a made-up name, a trade name as they're sort of called. But yeah, it's, the colour got me. Good shape, good size, and good colour. So that's that one. those are the two. Well, I suppose the Miltonia is a species. I mean, it's not rare or anything. They're quite common. And I think it gets involved with natural hybridization as well in the wild. And then this is my piece of Dendrobium Victoria Regina. And I'd have liked a bigger piece, but I'm happy with this piece because I know it's the real thing. That's the important bit. And obviously this is a recent cane, nice and plump, still leaved, possibly still growing, but may well have finished. And this is the thing that should have, I'll show you, this should have got me really when I got this thing out of the box. The canes on this masquerading one are too long. They're not right. But I didn't notice that, and having never owned it, because I've never had the real thing before, I just didn't notice it. But yeah, so recently potted. I will probably mount it, but I might not do it now. Bearing in mind this has already been disturbed once. It's not in a media that I need to worry about. It's in bark, so it'll dry off in the winter when it needs to be drier. So I might leave it in there and wait until spring next year when I get some new growths on the go. That is big enough to bloom. Those canes are mature enough to actually bloom. Whether they will or not, who knows? It's got to adapt to my environment, so that's got to happen before it's going to think about blooming. So I might well leave it in the pot for, get it through this winter without disturbing it anymore. That gives it its best chance to settle into that pot. And then come the spring when it bursts back into life, hopefully, and we do get a new growth from the base with what will be a new set of roots on top of the ones it's already got, I can mount it then. It will end up mounted. It's not going to stay in a pot. But obviously Sarah had to do something with it because it came off. All of her specimen plants are mounted. So it had to come out of there. So out of the corner of my eye, I'm just seeing there's another Masdevallia bloom there with some slug damage on it. In fact, there are two. And we got another one. There were two on this pot. Yep, there's another one. And he's had the slug pellets. He's frazzled. So that was 3 slugs on that pot. 2 which I'd already got, and now another one. And I hate to say it, but they came. That plant came with those slugs. They were not from in here, I don't think. So that's another one. And as I say, that one's had the slug pellet, so that's frazzled now. So I don't need to deal with it. So there we go. That's my 3 from Burnham's. Very pleased with the Miltonia species. It's a lovely bloom. There is a picture of it on the tag. But the blooms caught my eye. Oh, that's not a very good picture. Might be able to find a better one. The blooms caught my eye, and I thought, oh, that's a nice looking Miltonia. So I walked over and had a look. And there were a lot of plants, probably 25, 30 plants in that section, some of which were in bloom. But then over to one side of that section were some much larger plants. And quite honestly, they were only £5 more. So the bulk of them, which were that sort of size, they were £20, and the larger ones were 25. For a species with 4 bloom spikes, that's not an expensive plant. Well, it's not rare or anything, I won't say they're common as muck, but they're easily obtained. So I was very pleased with that and pleased with the price. Do you know what? I don't even think I looked to see how much this one was. It's a case of I'm having it. Now hang on, Sarah said you've got a 20, a 25 and a 30. So this would have been £20, this one. This is the 30. Again, a mature version of that plant. You can't get them, So I'm pleased. Quite honestly, she could have charged me what she wanted. I would have preferred a larger plant, but that's what I got. So I'm pleased that I've got the real thing. So that's my little Burnham's haul. I probably won't get any more plants this year. I mean, there might be an odd one or two that catch my eye on the internet, but there's no shows. They're all gone now. There's no shows to go to. So there's only online or visits, and the only nursery I can sensibly visit that I would want to visit is Burnham's. I mean, the Speciotics nursery by appointment, I'm sure I'd be most welcome to go there, especially if I was going to film and advertise their nursery. But it's a hell of a long way. You know, you're looking at nearly 200 miles, and it's classed as a 3-hour journey. That's an awful lot. You know, it's a lot. You know, that's pushing it, pushing what I would want to do in a day. And the part of the world it's in, I don't know that well. So it's not like there's anywhere else around that I could split it, stop overnight and split the day, and, you know, do another day somewhere else. But they'll come out next year. I'll catch them at a show, I suspect. So we shall see. But Zane has been to the nursery, and she said it's really well worth a visit if you can. And they're installing, or have just installed, a third glass house. So that's effectively half as big again now, which means they can store an awful lot more plants. They've still got to find them and get them to be able to store them and then sell them on. That's going to get more difficult as time goes on. Anyway, that's my 3 from Burnham's. Pleased with all 3 of those. Nice Miltonia species, a nice intergeneric thing that I love the colours on, size and shape, and my Victoria Regina to grow on and get to bloom. Maybe this year, but definitely next year. So there we go. See you next time. Let's finish up on a nice close-up on that one. I can see that camera's not rendering that colour right. It's a lovely, bright, golden daffodil yellow with a nice burgundy red set of splotches and stuff. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful coloured blooms. Love it.